outside the Amex Stadium, Brighton Stadium. It's finished Brighton 4, West Ham 0. At least I think started to lose count. Really, you can see just behind me there. You know, fans are leaving. It's about, I don't know, about 15 minutes after the final whistle. Now, well, let's deal with the first thing. I mean, the crowd were on Moyes for that. It was 1-0 at half-time, okay, and it was a warranted penalty. I felt Johnson didn't appreciate, I think, how good Matoma's touch was going to be. I'm not going to talk you through all the goals because, to be honest with you, it was a bit of a blur. Matoma had a really good touch. Johnson took him down. It was a penalty, and you know what? That happens. Okay, fine. It's how you deal with that, which is the important thing. The point is, we got to half-time. You're expecting subs to be made. Well, say you're expecting them. I guess we know with David Moyes that those subs are not going to be made, but he already did make a substitution. He took Said Benrahma off and he put on Pablo Fornals. Now, I like Fornals, nothing against Fornals at all, but as I've been saying for probably about the past season or so, he's a defensive wide player. You know, he's a holding winger, whatever you want to call it. That's what he is. He does not offer a proper attacking threat. I know people are going to say he got the cross in the Nottingham Forest game, but you know that was a game that was home and hosed. You know, a game that we'd already won. We were comfortable at the end. We were in the canter, much the same as Brighton were today. So half-time needed substitutions. What's Moyes going to do? Well, that was a defensive substitution. You're not going to convince me otherwise. And when he made that substitution, what he was basically saying was, "I'm going to defend. I'm going to defend now, and I'm going to." It stank of keeping it at 1-0 to keep the goal difference down. And I think the idea with that is, you know, okay, it's not fine because, you know, ultimately you're going to lose the game, but we didn't keep the goal difference down. It completely backfired and it ended up being 4-0. I think really that the crucial part of that, without going through all the sort of details of the game on it, is that the crowd turned on Moyes. So at the very start of the second half, everyone was singing, "Oh, Said Benrahma," that one started to get sung. It's a protest song. It's basically everybody saying, look, you know, well, I was going to say, it's basically people saying you don't know what you're doing to David Moyes. He didn't have to, basically, he didn't need an Enigma machine to decipher exactly what the crowd was singing, because basically everyone started singing, "You don't know what you're doing." Now, something really interesting happened at this point, because at the point where the crowd was singing, "You don't know what you're doing," because I should probably say, just in case you don't know, Brighton were all over us. They were all over us. It was so easy for them. I don't know, the stats in the first half must have been so skewed. I say the first half. I only mention that because at half-time something should have been done, and it actually wasn't done. They had all the possession. It was easy. It was like a training exercise. Honestly, their goalkeeper was able to pass between our players. Crazy football match to view. But the point is, David Moyes should have done something about it. So the crowd started singing to him, "You don't know what you're doing." David Moyes sat down at that point. He sort of walked, and anyone that was in the ground will have watched. If you were watching David Moyes, you'll have seen this. Be very interested to see in the comments below. But David Moyes almost fronted up to the crowd. I don't mean he puffed his chest out or he did anything like that, but he started walking towards the crowd, very much staring at the crowd as they were singing, "You don't know what you're doing," but he had been sat down when the song started. But that's a weird way to maybe deal with the criticism. Look, Scamacca was on the bench, Lanzini was on the bench. I mean, I think he brought Lanzini on at whatever, 3-0 down or something like that. But where were the substitutions to be made that were going to turn that game around? He didn't seem to want to make any of them. And then, so we got a little Patreon WhatsApp group, basically, for our patron addicts. By the way, if you want to help us support Amex Chat, the link will be in the description below on this video. You can help us out on Patreon. We would very much appreciate that. But without going, we'll talk about that another day. On the Patreon chat, in the WhatsApp group, people were saying the Brighton fans were singing "You're getting sacked in the morning" to David Moyes. That wasn't the Brighton fans singing "You're getting sacked in the morning," and it was the West Ham fans. It was, just in case you hadn't figured that out for yourself. But I just thought, what was Sullivan thinking here? Because Sullivan was sat right above David Moyes, right above the dugout, and I just don't know how he can survive this. Really, that was utter capitulation. Whatever goal difference we might have eked out, and whatever benefits we might have got from the goal difference against Nottingham Forest are long gone now. That was an absolute thumping. That was a hiding. And I'll tell you how bad it was. You know, we're all scratching around, we're all looking at our phones, hoping that Arsenal beat Bournemouth. apparently they did at the end, 97th minute or something like that. How bad is that? I mean, we're desperate. We were so bad, we're desperate. 2 hours down the south coast, you're hoping Bournemouth are gonna do us, a favour. Actually, they might probably at the Emirates anyway. But you know what I'm saying? We were sort of hoping that they were going to capitulate. Bournemouth got more attacking threat than us. It was infuriating to not attack, not try. Let's just get to the players as well, by the way. All of that was about David Moyes there. The players were useless, absolutely useless. Glenn Johnson, okay, but like a Gerd was against Man United. That's Ben Johnson had one of those games today. He was at fault for an awful lot. He had a bad game. But he wasn't on his own. I guess it was sort of his individual mistakes to be highlighted. I'm pretty sure they'll probably talk exactly about that on Match of the Day. But we were bad. There wasn't much drive. There wasn't much commitment from the players. You wouldn't have thought those players had just recently won 4-0 in the league, and maybe it was my fault. I foolishly thought that maybe against Man United that what would have happened was, even though we'd have lost, we played well. We were the best team for 65 minutes, so they might have taken something from it. They didn't. I tell you what, that was different, by the way. Gerd's 3 individual errors cost us the game. We were losing that game irrespective of how Ben Johnson played, because we were the best team for no minutes in that game. It's clearing out now, but as you sort of walk down here, before I sort of try and find a position to do this video where sort of no one bothers you basically. And you walk past sort of the Brighton fans, and you can hear them saying, "Oh, I don't get any better than that. Oh, that was easy, wasn't it?" To hear the opposition fans saying that stuff, nothing nasty or nothing that they shouldn't be saying. They won the game. Good luck to them. Well, you say good luck to them. They don't need luck because it's a really well-run football club. Let's be perfectly frank about it. But the players were awful. The players were rancid today, actually, and. I'm sorry, I should probably say that. It's not just David Moyes, there was songs ringing out, "You're not fit to wear the shirt." And today they didn't perform like they were. They didn't fight for the shirt. They didn't play for the shirt. I can't quite fathom it in my mind, really. I'm going to have to, I don't know. Because after the Forest game, and even the Man United game, I thought these aren't players that have stopped playing for David Moyes. They look like they were playing for him. It's hard to watch that and think otherwise. I'm going to have to sort of reassess that. I don't know. It's so soon after the game, and emotions are running high. But there was a resignation to that at the end of each game, as everybody knows. When you go to a game, right near the end, when the game's about to finish, all the stewards, they double up on the stewards, and the reason they double up on the stewards is to stop the crowd running onto the pitch. And I looked at them doubling up there, and I just thought, you don't have to worry about it. We've had enough. I've had the life sucked out of us on this one. It's just such a hard team to watch. Granted, you have nice days like the 4-0 against Nottingham Forest, but I mean, by and large, this has been a hard watch. To not attack Brighton was a bad thing. And I'll tell you this now. I had to double check and I had to confirm. Brighton didn't have their manager today. They did not have their manager. Moyes doesn't only get outdone by opposition managers, even their apprentices, he can't do it. I mean, we had it with the Tottenham one. Antonio Conte wasn't at the Tottenham game, but he's apprentice, or apprentice, you know what I'm saying, assistant, whatever you want to call it. But the second in charge. Moyes isn't even as good as the second in charge at these clubs. And that's what we got today. And, and I don't take kindly to him fronting up at the fans when they were singing, "You don't know what you're doing." Look, it can't be easy to hear, but make a substitution, mate. Get some attackers on the pitch. Do something. Do something that impacts that game. Do something to get the opposition manager thinking about it. Just give us something to hang on to. Give the fans something to cheer. I can't chalk this off as a bad day at the office. I'm going to upload this video now. I would be very surprised if he's still in his job tomorrow. I know I keep saying that, and you know what, and feel free to to comment below and say how many times I've said that. But come on, that's the first time I've really heard the crowd turn against David Moyes. Not good enough, nowhere near good enough. I want to get this uploaded. If you've somehow liked the video, I know you don't like what I'm saying because it's a bit crappy, innit? But a thumbs up on the video would be very, very much appreciated. If you're not subscribed, would be great if you do so now. Myself and Chair will be back, I'm sure, on Monday on Patreon for our player ratings. I mean, it ain't going to be good, let's be honest.